Hello and welcome to the show. Well, as we'll tell you today, we've just cracked a 2-year high for clearance rates around Australia. Kevin Brogan from CoreLogic with me and all the details in just a moment.
In today's market, great ideas alone simply aren't enough, but innovative execution can hand you a real competitive advantage. Nightlight is a cutting-edge illuminated signboard by Printforce that offers round-the-clock visibility and features that maximise advertising space, improving your exposure. Buyers can now see the full picture, day or night, with Nightlight's edge-to-edge illuminated surface, which utilises environmentally friendly, scratch-resistant technology. Now available in 6x4 and 8x4. Nightlight is as versatile as you need to be in today's market. Let your clients know you're working day and night for them, and then prove it with Nightlight.
Welcome back, and we say good morning to, or well, good afternoon. I think I did that earlier in the week too. I lose track of the time. Kevin Brogan from CoreLogic. How you doing, mate?
Very good, thanks, Kevin. How are you?
Good. Hey, isn't this good news? A 2-year record for the clearance rates. We'll no doubt see it settle down. Let's bring up the clearance rates. Firstly, Sydney, 81.7%.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's the strongest preliminary clearance we've seen out of Sydney for a little while. I mean, it's consistent with the narrative of the improved confidence in the market, but that's nonetheless a pretty strong result.
Yeah, even Melbourne at 78.3%. Look at Brisbane, 47.3%. That brings joy to my heart.
Oh, look, absolutely. Now that's if you look at the other capital cities, that doesn't look that high. But I mean, actually, for Brisbane, that's at the higher end of the range that we've seen this year. So that's not a bad result either.
Yeah, auction numbers not as good as this time last year. I don't think from memory, but still 1,200 is not too bad.
No, look, we are seeing a slight increase as we head towards spring, but it's by no means a surge of listings at this stage.
Canberra, low numbers, but still a good clearance rate, well over 80%.
Oh, look, I think they'd be satisfied with that. That's 0.1% ahead of Sydney. I'm sure they're all counting, but that's the first time Canberra's been ahead of Sydney this year.
Yeah, not too much focus on Perth because very low numbers there, only 13, I think, and 7 reported, but 71%. That's still not too bad. So rounding it out, 76.6%. The preliminary rate. Will that hold over 70%? Do you think by the end of the week?
Oh, look, it'd be good to think that it would. I mean, there's every chance. I mean, what we've seen this week is Sydney and Melbourne performing strongly as we expect. But I mean, it's those other capital cities that have actually assisted this week in sort of lifting the combined capital city average.
Yeah. Let's slip to our next slide now, which is the houses and unit breakdown. A little bit of a separation there. Units still ahead of houses. That's probably, I think, again, a sign of the fact that people are, favouring the units. It's good to see the units being absorbed too as well, Kevin.
Oh, look, it is, but I think there is a difference there between, if you look at Melbourne, you see houses are actually ahead of units, but you look at Sydney, 79.2% for houses and 87.6% for units. And when you look at the price differential between houses and units, I think there's affordability factors coming into play in the Sydney market in particular.
Yeah, particularly in Sydney. Okay, we'll take you to the Sydney sub-regions now. Speaking of Sydney, let's have a look. What do we got there? 100% out of city and inner north. Is that low reporting numbers? 49 auctions?
No, look, that is 42 sales from 42 results collected.
Yeah. That says it all, I think, doesn't it?
Oh, look, it certainly does. I mean, we haven't seen a 100%. I mean, look, anything above 20 results is significant, and 42 from 42 is an outstanding achievement.
Well, let's have a look at our Sydney top sale. 10 Chalmers Road at Strathfield, contemporary masterpiece. This one, $6 million. It's not the top sale in the country, but still pretty good. 6 million. Richardson and Wrench selling this one. Lawrence Chong and Chris Vergona.
Yes, look, this is a brand new property, first sale. You know, it's about 15 kilometres west of Sydney, 700 square metres. It is the highly sought after area of Strathfield. Look, Strathfield has struggled a bit during the softening of the market. The median price in Strathfield dropped to 2.1 from 2.6 million. So this is certainly a location that has endured some of that market softening. But I mean, this is a spectacular brand new property in a really popular, enduring location. So extremely good result there.
Melbourne, in fact, recorded the top sale, and we'll take you to that in just a moment. It's to touch over $7 million. But before we do, let's bring up the Melbourne sub-region results. By the way, too, that's in Toorak, in the pretty close into the city. Let's have a look at the regional numbers there. 83.5%. Oh, 96% on the Outer East. Yeah.
Outer East, 96.2%. And again, look, that's not high numbers because of the seasonal impact, but I mean, it's out of 26 results, 25 out of 26 sold. So again, really, really strong sign of market confidence.
Top sale out of Victoria, in fact, was the top sale in the country, $7,050,000. 19 Sargood Street at Toorak. Marshall White, they'd be delighted with this, and so too with the sellers. 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 3-car. Toorak, pretty much speaks for itself. I mean, Toorak, just the name Toorak says quality.
Absolutely. Look, and Sargood Street's a lovely little street in Toorak, quite a quiet tree-lined street. This is about 740 square metres. It's about 10 kilometres to the southeast of Melbourne. This is a 1930s home which has been extensively refurbished, renovated and extended. Interesting, this property came to market with a guide price of between 6 and 6.5. And I know somebody who was actually at the auction and said that the bidding just kept going. Two bidders really quite keen on getting this property, and that's reflected in the result, just over 7 million.
Yeah, you may not join me on this conversation, but that's still the problem I have with price ranges. You know, it makes it very difficult for bidders, and it makes it particularly hard for agents too to try and predict where they think it's going to sell. When you get a property like that and the bidding just goes up and up and up, no one really expects it to get that high.
Oh, no, look, absolutely. And I mean, from as you mentioned in your introduction to this property, you know, the agent would be delighted. I mean, this sort of price range in Melbourne this year, most of the properties that have sold above 5 million have done so by negotiation immediately after the auction. They've all been passed in. This is the highest sale in Melbourne this year, actually under the hammer in auction conditions.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm going to take you to our top sale in Queensland in just a moment. It didn't come out of Brisbane, but it is a spectacular home on the Gold Coast, an entire bottom floor of an apartment block, and just you could just literally roll out of bed and roll onto the beach. We'll come back in just a moment and we'll take you through that property back then.
Did you know you can save up to 70% on your staff costs by outsourcing the low-value, repeatable tasks so your team can focus on growing your business? Beepo is an outsourcing provider focused on the real estate industry. With an English-speaking, tertiary qualified and fully trained team in the Philippines, Beepo will give your business the boost it needs to start growing and returning value to you. For more information, visit beepo.com.au.
Hello once again and welcome back to the show. Kevin Brogan from CoreLogic with me. Let's have a look at our top sale out of Queensland, Kevin. This one was on the Gold Coast, entire ground floor of a property on Golden 4 Drive at Tugun, $2.5 million. Ray White recording this sale. Tony Dowker, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 3-car. As I said, just have a look at some of these graphics on the ground floor. As I said, you could just literally roll out of here onto the beach.
Absolutely, Kevin. Look, this is, as you say, the ground floor apartment. It's got a 20-metre frontage onto the beach. I think it's interesting. This property sold in 2006 for 2.225 million. So not a huge amount of capital growth there over a 13-year period. But I mean, in terms of its location relative to the beach, it doesn't get much better than that.
No, it doesn't. And I think that that low growth over what was, I think you said 12, 13 years, that really, I think, is just indicative of the quality of stock that's coming onto the market on the Gold Coast. And we saw an oversupply in the last decade or so. So those values, while they've continued to grow, they have trimmed back just a little bit. There's a lot of comparisons.
Oh yeah, look, I mean, I think it's interesting. I mean, I haven't mentioned the median price here because the median price is actually really quite low because obviously the suburb extends a fair way inland, and the premium property all along the front is at a completely different level.
Yeah, look, of course, Tugun getting down towards the border as well, so it's a fair way from the hyper centre of Southport and Surfers Paradise, but still a fabulous property. Let's go to South Australia. And you can tell me a little bit about Evandale. I don't know much about this, but 8A West Street in Evandale. Is that in the east?
No, look, it's the northeast. So it's probably a little bit more north than east, but it's only about 5 kilometres out of the city centre. Look, Evandale has proven to be sort of quite a popular inner suburb over time. Interestingly, this property was listed in October for $750,000.
Okay, well, you can see on the screen there we've recorded a sale of $630,000 by Harris Real Estate. So give me that figure again.
So it was listed for sale in October for $750,000, and it has sold for the same price that it sold as new in 2010. Now it's interesting because the median price in Evandale is $810,000. Look, this property does look very well presented. As I said, it's less than 10 years old. It's been constructed to a pretty high standard, but it doesn't seem to have shown any capital growth since the original sale.
No, and I think the sellers in this case actually had it with at least one other agent before Harris picked it up and sold it at auction. So, a big lesson there for sellers, I guess, and for agents as well. But anyway, congratulations to Harris for doing that. Tough job, I guess, to sell a property like that when you add or close to what someone paid for it many, many years earlier. Let's go to the ACT now, and our top sale there in Yarralumla. Now, there is a name. Unit 2 at 37 Novar Street, $910,000. Peter Blackshaw selling this one. Bronwyn McGrath from Peter Blackshaw. 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom and 1 car.
Absolutely. So look, Yarralumla is a well-known location. It's only 3 kilometres to the west of Parliament House, so it's pretty handy if the political scene is your thing. Look, as we've discussed a fair bit in Canberra, the suburbs are all surrounded by reserves. This is the rear of 2 units at this address on a combined site of about 800 square metres. So it's actually quite a sort of secluded spot as it's so close in.
I think I noticed too from the photographs the garage, because is this at the front or the back? Did you say it's at the rear?
This is the one at the back.
At the back, yeah. Because they've got access through the garage into the backyard as well, which I thought was quite clever. One of the garages opens up, so yeah.
Yes, that's right. Look, we've seen the median price in Yarralumla actually fall a bit. So it's currently $730, and that's actually down from $930 in 2017.
Okay, and finally we'll go to Western Australia and 41 Armadale Crescent at Coolbinia. First time in over 60 years this one sold, so it tells you a lot, but $1,050,000. Edison Property, Basil Fogliano selling this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. Well established, and as we said, first time sold in over 60 years. Coolbinia, tell me about that.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is a fairly solid brick-built house on a site of 888 square metres. Look, it looks to have been very well maintained, but the fact that it hasn't sold for 60 years does sort of tell you that, it's probably fairly original, although it's been well maintained. It's directly opposite a reserve. It's surrounded by other pretty large dwellings. It's only 5 kilometres north of Perth, so it's actually fairly central in the location. The median house price here has actually been fairly steady. surprisingly, because we've seen a lot of market softening in Perth over an extended period since 2015. But the median price is just a shade under 1.2 million.
Very good. Okay, so just recapping, preliminary clearance rate of 76.6%, and Kevin Brogan predicting that we'll hold, I don't want to put words in your mouth here, but we'll hold over 70% by the end of the week. So we'll see. What's your prediction?
I'm looking forward to testing that. Look, I'd love it to stay above 70%.
Probably very close to 70, probably around that 71%, which I think it ended up with roughly where we ended up last week, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. Look, I think it might be a bit stronger than last week in the final figures. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, certainly those results coming out of Sydney are very, very good. So if they hold up, that's for sure that will happen. All right, my friend. Thank you very much. Look forward to talking to you on Friday. We'll give you a full wrap. We give you the best wrap twice a week on what's happening with auctions right around Australia, with the compliments of CoreLogic, and Kevin Brogan joins me with those results. Kevin, thanks for your time. We'll look forward to catching up with you later in the week.
Thanks a lot, Kevin. Speak to you soon.
Your business card is a vital selling tool and a constant visual reminder of who you are, what you do, and more importantly, how you can be contacted. Introducing our new Velvet business cards, featuring a luxurious premium laminate that has a velvet texture and is soft to the touch. Printed on a resilient 450 GSM card, these cards can be printed with a range of spot gloss and foiling options to give your office that prestigious look.